Hello friends, it's time to finally overcome that long pause since our last film, which together with Zoya were recorded soon after those terrible happenings on our border that are still going on to this date. We've decided to take a pause in order for the truth to infiltrate and reach the people. Now, the only people left in the dark are the ones who stubbornly don't want to know the truth about what is really going on by choosing to live with their eyes closed. For us, these events were not unexpected. The whole world has been going towards them for many years. All our previous films were made for the reason to share and show our lifestyle, our way of thinking that make up the story of the world, just like the lifestyle of everyone else on the planet, regardless of whether they choose to agree to be aware of it or not. It was important for us to share about competitive thinking, hierarchy, and the control of power as the main source of mankind's troubles. The world's conflict is the reflection of what is going on within the people and their personalities, which is the desire for dominance and superiority. In order for the conflict of the races to end, each and every one of us has to sooner or later resolve our inner conflict. From one side to be submersive, so that others control us, thus we do not take any responsibility for our lives, and from the other side to manipulate and dominate others. The root of the desire for subordination and superiority, instead of striving to reach an agreement, finding a consensus, and building an equilateral relationship, is found at the people's self-dislike. If people did not have the deep-seated self-hatred, then why would someone want to prove that he is better, superior, richer, and more successful than others? If deep down inside a person would not carry beliefs about his insignificance, he would then want to interact and cooperate, and not dominate. It has been over half a year that we haven't recorded new films. During this time, I've traveled to Brazil and built a self-cooling waterarium. I'll be video editing the footage from this workshop this autumn. This, combined with a foundation I've built in cold climate as well as a model I will be making this winter, will form the basis of the first lessons of our Waterarium online course, which is a self-cooling, self-heating, off-the-water and power grid living bioshelter organism that I have been developing since 2007. Okay, I'm in Moscow and I just came to stand outside because I'm going straight back into the airport. It's freezing, but it's beautiful. It's such a change from Brazil. I'm really enjoying the fresh Russian air of my homeland.
Первый день после приезда Алёши, да?
Да.
Из Бразилии.
It's crazy. Look out there. Man. Вот, посмотри туда.
А все засыпало.
Давай я. Oh my God.
Божечки, давай, Алёш, давай.
Вот. Да?
Как же мы с тобой... О, Боже.
soon as I arrived back home, I got terribly sick with COVID. I barely survived with my temperature jumping from 35 to 40 during a half-hour period. We called the hospital for a doctor to come check me out. They came out all the way to the forest home that we were renting out, but couldn't find any way to assist me. They just said that if they took me into the hospital, then there would be a greater chance of my death due to other sick people and all the harmful bacteria that's present in the oxygen pipes. We found about another private doctor from Zoya's friend named Alexei, who saved many lives. He put me on a drip and prescribed some medicine that Zoya injected into my bum. Thankfully to him, I'm recording this video for you. So I have about 70% pneumonia around my lungs, but my lung saturation is about 95%. So that's why they didn't hospitalize me. But if I move around, I struggle to breathe. So I'm just lying still. I had tuberculosis and I have a permanent scarring damage in my lungs. So I know what I'm talking about when I say permanent lung damage, and COVID does that. So I hope I won't have any more scarring tissues because I already have some from TB. But now, so far so good. At the end of spring, as we were about to plant our seedlings that Zoya diligently nurtured since February, the owner of the rental home we stayed at told us to leave. We lived here for an entire year. It was only 28 days notice. We had no time to look for appropriate replacement and ended up moving to a flat in a nearby town. Why there? Because in the same abandoned village where we rented, we also managed to buy an old home with a hectare of land, where I started building waterlarium for a cold climate. So we're leaving the home, which is about to come up now, and we bought another home, very old home at the end of this village, 600 meters only that way. So we've got half our stuff there, and the rest we're moving to a flat in a nearby town, which is about 20 minutes drive. I was building it in mind of an international community that would be joining us over time. A co-working space / training center would allow us to learn from each other, run workshops, develop ecosystems and architectural projects, get inspiration and co-create with each other. We wanted to create a center that would unite people all over the world around the idea of eco-homes nested within a permaculture food forest habitat. Because none of you could travel here, this abandoned village started to associate for me with ill feelings and emptiness. I once again traveled to Siberia, nearby to a sect of Vasorion, who is, by the way, sitting in jail. I connected deeply with other warm, open-hearted and creative people who are not the fanatics or part of this movement.
I'm in the most amazing village. The people are really open. There's so many master craftsmanships and studios that you can work at. All workshops for kids are free. There's a Waldorf school here. I'm hoping to be here. I'm calling Zoya with me. She doesn't want to go. I was here 3 years ago and I'm here for the third time and I've made my choice. I want to live here. I really do.
I love the nature there with its spectacular mountains, tiger forests and huge raging river with drinking water containing minerals such as gold. I also visited a couple of festivals, a permaculture fest in an eco-village as well as an ethnic culture event where I saw my favorite band, Atava Yor. I experienced a little bit of our massive country that I never got to explore before, and how all the various nationalities, with all their uniqueness, all collaborate and live in oneness, also reverently relating to each other's traditions. Equality does not imply the exclusion of other ethnic nationalities and erasing their cultures. Equality implies respect for different cultures, as well as cross-pollination and fair energy exchange from these multifaceted people. We're out to stop elevating competition as something positive. Trampling over the vanquished leads to a hidden malice, which will compensate in the future as resentment and revenge. The triumph of the winter over the joy that the vanquished is experiencing suffering is a sure sign of mental illness. Who is the winning side within this contest? The one who has suffered more versus the one who has suffered a little less. There are no uninjured within a rivalry and competition. According to us, the seed of real transformation lies in the reformatting of our schools by removing system of marks, so our children are raised in a system of coordinates built on equality and mutual support. By giving children marks in schools, it just arouses the thirst of superiority and self-affirmation at the expense of another. Until we realize the importance of this, we cannot truly rewire the fabric of our society and will not be able to make that quantum leap into a bountiful future. We'll just continue on a downward spiral of degradation, repeating the same destructive processes until a full collapse and destruction of human race and our planet. As we see the current world events and the sixth extinction in action, there is no need to pedantically argue who is right and who is wrong. It is enough to simply understand that if the authoritative representatives of any government who pursue the strategy of hegemony by raging and raping other countries will inevitably lead to a collapse of their own country. The bearer of the faith that some people are superior than others leads to the death of the bearer. If for the duration of entire history the humanity did not fight for power, then there would be no need to conquer and divide. Well, let the time come when the idea of national or any superiority be abolished. Let there come a moment of inner insight when no one wants to say, I'm Russian, Italian, French, Indian, American. I'm an earthling. Dear Earthlings, just to sum up, the consumption of another being leads to the death and degradation of both parties. That when a hegemony wants to absorb the resources of an entire planet, it will inevitably lead to the death of the hegemonies and others it is trying to consume. There is none in the slave-holding model who will win and prosper. Within a model of superiority and domination, love and flourishing abundance are simply impossible. Each and every one of us can argue that us ordinary laymen are powerless to change anything within the current situation. I'm also having a hard time to understand where we're going as a human race. However, I do know that radical changes in the world do not begin with perfectly plastered homes and pristine lawns. The great changes will happen when us ordinary men and women realize the monstrous, destructive power of the superiority and competitive paradigm. This will lead to uniting within the intention of gaining equality, mutual support, unity and prosperity.
Что так сердце растревожено, словно ветром тронула струну, о любви немало песен сложено. Я спою тебе, спою еще одну. О любви немало песен сложено. Я спою тебе, спою еще одну.
Friends, during the last half a year, a few have left Russia, but much more people are wanting to come and live here. Besides the fact that it is more difficult to come to our country now, as unfriendly countries have expelled our consulates who issue visas, people who understand the path that Western world has taken are actively trying to figure out the ways to relocate to our country. Please do look at the opening up possibilities and opportunities within our country. Myself, as a bioarchitect, artist and entrepreneur, I welcome any one of you who wants to build and co-create with us a makerspace/ecosystemic co-working Arcosanti type of community that will house like-minded people and generate an income to support the entire community. In the meantime, I have a 12-week-long 2D to 3D graph paper to CAD bioarchitectural drawing class starting on 24th of September. Please join me. Your tuition fees fund the R&D of our Waterlarium Eco Home for cold climate and the purchase of a 3D printer for all you folk that want to come and live and co-create together.